Hey D, welcome to Sunday night chatting with the group.
Chattanooga.
You know, it's a little lonely in here. It's just you and I. No on him. And we're going to talk about that because there's a big problem with loneliness. And it's in one particular group. It's not just everyone. I know everyone's a little lonely, pandemic, all that stuff, but there's one particular group who is lonely and we need to talk about it.
Sad.
Very sad. We have a lot to go over. We're going to talk about Amazon Prime Day. That was last week. We're talking about actually a big thing. You have been gone for the last half a week. You left the bubble. Not New York, not LA, not London, not any of these big elitist cities. You went to the heartland of America.
I'm American.
You are. And you're reporting back. I can't wait to hear about it. We're going to talk about Kanye. Everyone loves a good Kanye story. We got a few of them. And we're going to also talk about old Bill Gates. You know, Bill Gates, I don't know, I would say with the general public, I don't know that Bill Gates is in the best standing, you know, as far as like how people feel about him, but he's got a way to change that. And he's letting us all know that's going to change. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
D, welcome back. Are you allowed to talk about where you were at?
Yeah, I did a little road trip for work around New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and
just like the old days, huh?
Old days, back on the road.
And on the road where it all started.
And then back in Nashville.
So you left the bubble. I mean, I would say like going to New York doesn't count.
Yeah.
You left the bubble for real. What did you see? Same as LA?
I think the couple interesting things I saw. So I landed in Newark and I had meetings in Jersey. So I just was driving around all over New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And I could not believe the number of Trump signs.
Like in lawns?
Yeah. And the thing is I wouldn't be, and I'm not that they support him. That's not the surprising thing. Whatever. I don't care about that. It's just that the election was 2 years ago.
Yeah, but
and there's no other election
but it was
happening.
Stolen, D. And we don't support this fake president.
Yeah, so that part, I just couldn't believe. I'm like, has there ever been a time where like someone lost in anything and 2 years later you still have a sign of the loser on your line?
I know. Think about that. Think about how like crazy, like what that means, you know? Like 2 years later, everyone's moved on. Sports.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You lose a Super Bowl, you lose an election. Everybody has always moved on, not the Trumpers.
No, it was quite interesting from that perspective. Gas is significantly cheaper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like I guess I didn't realize that. Gas is way more expensive.
In California, yeah. There's definitely like a refinery thing that causes it to be more expensive.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, like I saw sub $5 everywhere, which was interesting.
Oh, so what's everyone all upset about?
Exactly. And, you know, just generally like going out to eat and drinks and everything, it's just so much cheaper.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think that like was, and I always knew, you know, obviously I've been all over the country and I always knew the rest of the country was cheaper. I think with inflation, I assumed, and I'm sure relative to what's happening, like, you know, it's affecting the local people. But like, if you are a Californian and you're able to continue to make like your Californian salary and go to even a place like Nashville, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that's why I think a lot of people did that hack.
Yeah. And what's funny is every Uber driver I took, specifically in Nashville, will be like, oh, where are you from? And I go, oh, I'm from LA. Everyone from LA is here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and I was like, what do they say? And they're like, oh, they just can't believe how cheap everything is.
Yeah. They're just living like kings.
Yeah. And I think that's like such a fascinating thing that like people are, I don't know, like it's interesting because I talked to a few people that moved out there or are from there and they all love it and they think life is amazing and perfect. Like I actually ran into our buddy Dan Weissman.
Oh yeah, he lives in Nashville?
Nashville. I literally ran into him at the Soho House in Nashville.
Wow. You had no idea?
No, I saw him walk by. I'm like, Dan? And he's just like, hey, what are you doing here?
That's amazing. Yeah. It's good, man. I go there every year for Thanksgiving and Nashville's great. If you could manage to live in a place like that, or you were from there or whatever, I get the
appeal.
I get the pull, especially right now with like LA being so crazy after, COVID. I totally get it.
I think here are my knocks on it. I think the weather is not good.
Yep. It's cold there in the winter too.
It's cold
like
in the
colder
winter.
Than you would think,
It was hot.
Yeah.
Like very hot.
Yeah.
The other part about it is I've only seen, Broadway, the mania of Broadway.
Yeah.
And then Lo Siento had like a big event at the soccer stadium. So I got to go to the soccer stadium, which was fun. Yeah. It was cool. I don't know what it's like 10 minutes outside of that. Like, what are you doing on a Friday night? Where are you eating? Who's at the restaurant? I understand you have a nice house. Like you live there and you probably live in a mansion. I get that part.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, the airport.
It's just suburban night. Like it's like nice suburban, like smaller city. I'm trying to think of where to compare it to.
So in Ohio, you compare it to Akron.
Akron's just so small. Like Akron, Akron's just like there is no Broadway. So
is it Akron without Broadway? And like the downtown
area? Because there's a Broadway in a downtown area, that naturally attracts like nicer jobs and things like that. And so what it does is it makes the suburbs a little nicer and the options are like much nicer and there's a lot of them. And then therefore it makes the restaurants a little nicer in the suburbs. Everything's just a little nicer. The problem with Akron is like even Cleveland, which is an hour away, isn't that great. And so all the way down, once you get to Akron, it's like there's not, it exists. It's not fucking like, hell, but like it's just not. Nashville suburbs would be a really nice place to live if, let's say, that was your speed. Like, if you had a family and you went fishing on the weekends, it's just a way slower speed,
Yeah, and I get it. I think if you're a family person, makes a ton of sense. I think if you're a young person, so just watching Broadway after the soccer game, we went to Broadway to the Kid Rock like honky tonk bar, whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so they
all are
Lo
named
Siento
after
there.
like somebody, like the Dirk Bentley.
Yeah, all those Jason Aldean.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the Kid Rock one. We're ripping tequila there. And we're like on like the second level. These things have like 50 levels to them.
Yeah.
And so we're on the second level and there's like the live band and they're playing all the big songs, the cover songs like Journey and whatever. And I look into the crowd. I believe this is a Wednesday night.
Yep.
People are partying and singing like it is New Year's fucking Eve.
Yeah.
When I think about Nashville, like it is Las Vegas for the East Coast.
Yeah, they call it Nash Vegas.
Okay, that makes sense now. Because I'm like, what are these people doing? Because I'm like, they can't be locals. You're not doing that on a Wednesday night. And then I asked a friend
I don't think so.
The next day, and he's like, I've been there like twice since I moved here, 5 years.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's wild, man. It blows me away how, like, that strip on Broadway is fucking bananas every time. Always.
Every time I've gone, it's just nuts.
Even when I went this year for Thanksgiving, it was cold. It was freezing cold, but there was something going on, maybe a game or something. And it was just every bar, it was just like that. Just people going fucking nuts. Yeah, I don't know. They have a good vibe there. But that also just makes me think, like, is there that much tourism? Like some of those have to be locals, right?
No, I was asking someone in hospitality there, and he was like, "Oh no, these are tourists. Like so there's like 50,000 bachelorette parties happening.
Sheesh.
Like everyone's wearing the sachets, like rolling around.
Yeah,
you know, so much vomit everywhere. Vomit is a sign of tourism.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah,
you see vomit, you know there's tourists.
Yeah, you know they're not from here.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would assume Nashville is like really central for basically half the country.
Mm. Yeah, and I think that once again, like we're very in our bubble. I think that for most like cities or towns or where people are from, like Nashville's really cool. Like that Broadway, you know, your city doesn't have a Broadway, and
no city has a Broadway.
I know. Well, for us,
that is unique for the whole world. Like I actually think I think everyone should experience Broadway once because it's so nuts.
Yeah. I wonder what it's like on New Year's. It has to be just like literally people puking and singing and like from every direction.
What's so funny is, you know, you get off the airport in Nashville, there's a live band. You go to the parking lot, there's like a fucking live band. Mm-hmm. They're just shoving music and booze down your face all day. I remember I walked into, so I actually stayed at the Soho House in Nashville. Really nice, by the way. Incredible place. And I walk in, there's music playing. I was on a phone call. Everyone's like, what are you at a concert? I was like, actually, this is just literally my hotel room.
I'm in the bathroom at the hotel room. There's a live band in here.
It's like, I get it. You're Music City or whatever it's called, but like, it's just too much music. Too much music. And I love music, but it's just like everywhere you go, everyone's got by the way, like it just also puts in perspective, like how many talented people in music just never make it.
Yeah.
Like the airport guy was so good.
Yep. I think if you're a musician, the worst thing you can do is visit Nashville.
Yeah, because you suck.
Because you're like, wow, I have no shot.
Yeah. Like you're better off just sticking on TikTok and just trying to figure it out.
Just cross your fingers.
Like, I would love to know, so I started following this guy on TikTok. I'm fascinated by him. Uh-huh. Good segue. And I'm in Nashville and I'm like, you know, seeing these like incredible, like, they're all older. They look like they've been playing music for decades and they just love it and they're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Then on TikTok last week, I run into Little Man Jay, an interesting looking young man that is literally like, he sounds like Little Baby. He has a crazy, he looks like Carrot Top.
Yeah. He's a white guy, right?
Yeah.
Hey, but
he sounds like Little Baby.
He literally sounds like Little Baby. There's two of these motherfuckers. There's another one too that has a song about like, I'll shoot your homies and everyone you ever met. And he's like just a white kid with like blonde hair kind of popping out of the brim of his hat and glasses. And there's like videos going viral on TikTok of him just like people are like watching. It's like response reaction videos. Because when you first see him, you're like, oh, who's this dorky little guy? And then all of a sudden it's like, I'll shoot your whole family. And
given recent incidents, I wouldn't.
Well, hey, the threats didn't die down in the raps. He is not afraid. But you know, it's like it's almost like Slim Jesus. Like I almost feel like maybe Slim Jesus.
I don't even know what Slim Jesus is. Is that
you don't remember Slim Jesus?
No.
He came to the office.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he a skinny guy that looks like Jesus?
Well, there's no Jesus resemblance, but he's skinny. He's just a skinny little white guy that the same thing was like, had guns in all of his videos and was like, I don't know, claiming to be a gangster. And he's a skinny little white kid, but he had like one song that was like buzzing. Yeah. But I wonder like, cause he fell off, but maybe he cleared the way and like, maybe this is the next Slim big rapper.
Jesus walked so Little Man Jay could fly.
He died so that Little Man Jay could live. Yeah. He died for Little Man Jay's sins. Yeah. Yeah.
But I was just looking at that. Like the irony is like Little Man Jay probably has a decent shot as a music career.
Mhm.
And this person in the Nashville airport that's literally sounds like Ray Charles. He has no shot.
Yep. That is the sad reality of how to make it in America.
Yeah.
Right, okay, well, we're glad to have you back in the bubble. I'm glad you were safe out there.
Yeah.
Anytime someone leaves the bubble.
People in like, I would say specifically Nashville are so goddamn nice.
Yeah.
I mean, like legit, I had a meeting with someone. They offered to drop me off, bought me lunch, said, if you ever need a ride anywhere else, I was like, wow. Yeah. Like, imagine anyone in LA offering to do anything.
No chance. You'd be like, oh, you're trying to murder me?
Yeah. Like, hey, you want to ride home?
You're the world's worst kidnapper?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just different. It's really strange. Yeah. That's what like a lot of people say that about Austin. Like a lot of people that moved to Austin from here. And there is something different in those places. I feel like Ohio's where I'm from is like that.
Well, I think there's this general like trust that outside of the big cities you have with like your fellow community members. Yeah. Like, oh, we all live together, like whatever. You need a ride,
Yeah.
I'll buy you lunch.
It also seems to be like this, like LA especially, but even New York, like it almost seems like everyone has like a motive. Like everyone's out for them and they'll give you a ride if they think that maybe you could give them something. If you're a celebrity in LA, you can get rides wherever the fuck you want. Yeah. But I think that everything's just kind of around this like, how does it benefit me thing? Whereas I think in those towns, you just like take that out of it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm not doing nothing. I'll drive you home. You want
to play no traffic? So what is it? 7 minutes.
I brought my guitar. You want to sing a song? That's great. Okay. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's talk about some big news. Starbucks. This is interesting. Starbucks is closing 16 of its stores in quote unquote woke cities. Yeah. Now, I don't know that this is a direct attack on the woke, but apparently what's happening is it's just in some of these democratic cities and some of these problems with DAs and stuff like that, their stores are there's just too many incidences of crazy shit going on. And it's not worth even keeping the store open.
And what's crazy is maybe 2 years ago, we talked about on this podcast, we said when Starbucks had said, we're just going to let anyone use the restroom because there was an incident around racial profiling. They said, anyone can use the restrooms. Anyone can hang out here. Do whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, what are you thinking?
I mean, that has so much consequence that like now...
Especially to announce it.
Yeah, you could just quietly do it, right?
Like, why don't you announce? Is this so weird to be like, oh, you have a racial profiling issue? Our response is, anyone use our bathrooms, we're no longer checking.
16 locations total are completely closing. No joke. 3 of them are within 2 miles of here. One's Hollywood and Western, Hollywood and Vine. One's in Santa Monica, second in San Pedro in downtown, Santa Monica and Westmount, and then Hollywood and Western. It's all in Hollywood, downtown, Santa Monica. Yeah. These are like prime locations.
I mean, I'm looking at one of them out my window right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's gone. See you later. And so I think, so when you think about that, I look at that as like, one, if Starbucks leaves a neighborhood, I actually think it's quite detrimental if it's that bad, because that means other businesses... Think about like
what's a mom and pop going through that just can't close.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I understand Starbucks, closed because of safety and whatever. Why not instead change the policy and clean it up? Because they're saying that their staff has been accosted by people high on drugs.
I think you need security.
Yeah, then it becomes too expensive, and maybe the unit economics.
That's
don't
what
work.
it is. So there's a place. I'll just tell you. There's a place that I go to. I went to a couple weeks ago in Hollywood, very close to that Starbucks, called Sweat Theory. They have infrared saunas.
Oh yeah. I know where it is.
And it seemed like a cool thing. Wanted to try it out. Went there, and I went there at night, like at 8 p.m. and
risque.
And there was a female a woman working at the front desk, and I was like, oh, you're like, isn't there kind of some crazy shit that goes on here? And she's like, oh yeah, we have security, and the security just happened to be like in the other room, and he came out, and they had to. She said, yeah, like it was just so nuts, and people were walking in here, and like there's just multiple women that work here, and we couldn't do anything about it, so the owner finally hired us security, and they just have a security guard that sits, and they're only open till 9 p.m. But they have a security guard every day, like from 6 to 9, that just sits and has to like clear because there's so much crazy shit that happens.
What's even is similar. I went to get a haircut at this new salon that I got introduced to that's near my house, and I asked him like, "Hey, how late do you cut? Just if I wanted to, like late if you're available later in the evening." Because I think this was like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and he's like, we used to be up, we used to be open till like 9, 10 p.m. But now people don't want to come like after 6.
Yeah.
And it's in Hollywood. And he's just like, people just don't want to come. Yeah. I think that's quite like, that's insane that this like, and Starbucks closing to me is just not a good sign, because instead of trying to find a solution, people are just giving up. And these are just 2 highly trafficked locations in LA, 6 locations in LA. That's kind of aggressive.
And that's what's crazy is like, to me, the craziest thing is that these are areas that 5 years ago weren't bad areas.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure like Hollywood, you probably always had a little bit of riffraff. I mean, there
Hollywood,
was like
basically my entire 20s, I used to walk up and down pissed drunk.
I know.
Not once did I have an issue.
That's what's
like,
so
I
weird.
can't even imagine what I was doing on Hollywood Boulevard in the 10 years.
Yeah.
I was just, I was in La La Land there.
Even my early 20s, Hollywood Boulevard was like that's like where all the nice clubs were. And
every hot club in that era was in Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah. And like there's been so many times where I've probably just stumbled down that street at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Not a care in the world. Now I wouldn't walk down it. It's completely sober at 8 p.m. Yeah, that's what's crazy to me. I think that when you think about like if I would have told you, let's just say in your 20s, hey, they're going to be closing Starbucks, they're going to be closing stores because it'll just be too fucking crazy in this area, I think it would be like a shock. But we just slowly kind of got used to it, I think. Yeah,
I think, I mean, I would assume if you're a young person today in your 20s, you live in LA, you don't frequent Hollywood at all. You're probably in West Hollywood, you're probably in Santa Monica, Venice, and you just don't, Hollywood's probably purely tourist.
Yep.
Is my guess.
It is. I mean, I drive past it every day. It's not even, it's our Broadway, just much shittier.
Shitty and scary. No live music. It's weird homeless people with speakers.
Screaming. It's just screaming noises. Yeah. There's no, I mean, there's a couple restaurants like on those, Wilcox or whatever, those side streets.
Yeah.
That I'm sure people go to.
But have you been to any of those restaurants?
No,
I used to go to all of those restaurants.
I know.
I lived at those restaurants. Geisha House, Beso, or whatever it was called. All those restaurants, be at them all the time.
Yeah. And now you can't even keep a Starbucks open.
Literally, Starbucks is giving up.
It's wild.
To me, Starbucks is the best chain in the world. If they're giving up, that is scary.
And can you imagine like the shit that Starbucks, like if you're at Starbucks headquarters, the little alerts that you get about like, oh, this happened in San Francisco, this happened in Nashville. Like I'm sure they deal with fucking madness every day.
Oh yeah.
For them to have to close stores, it must be
nuts.
bananas.
I'll tell you, the Starbucks closest to my house, the shit I have seen there with my kids
Yeah.
is so wild.
Yeah.
Where we're just like running out and being like, we're not getting coffee here. I'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah. I think
'Cause
Starbucks probably
it
deals
just-
with some of the craziest shit.
Yeah, and I think for if I was internal at Starbucks, I would just start changing policies. No purchase, no restroom. Fuck off. Like
The problem is like people just walk like you need security in these Hollywood locations. You know that people are just walking in there and be like, what the fuck? Give me a water.
yeah, I
Give me
can't
a
believe how
water.
many even young kids, like I'll see 16-year-olds pull up to a Starbucks and can I get 3 ice waters?
Yeah. Starbucks.
I was like,
fucks themselves.
wow,
Like, yo, I gotta take a shit. While I'm doing that, can you give me 3 ice waters?
Yeah. You get free ice water and take a shit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I have been to more Santa Monica boardwalk bathrooms in the last 2 years than Starbucks bathrooms.
Why? Because your kids?
No, I just feel more comfort. I like know what I'm getting when I walk into a boardwalk Santa Monica bathroom.
Yep. That's fair.
It's, it's disgusting. It's whatever it is.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm getting into a Starbucks bathroom.
It's true. It's very true. Because the problem too is Starbucks bathrooms used to be nice and they're still like remnants of when they were nice.
Yeah.
So like it's a prime location to like do whatever the fuck you want in there. Like you said, like Santa Monica Boardwalk, you know exactly what you're getting into. That has not changed at all in the last 2 decades. Starbucks is turned into fucking drug suites in there.
I mean, I've been to a New York Starbucks where I saw needles. I saw all kinds of shit. I was like, give me the, I'm good. I grabbed a paper towel, opened the door and ran the fuck out of there.
Because if you're in, if that's your lifestyle, when they first opened up those bathrooms, you were probably like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is like a free fucking 4 seasons. I've been going to, the Santa Monica bathrooms and now I get to go fuck up some Starbucks. That's great. And get a nice water. Fuck you, capitalism. Yeah. Okay. You want to talk about Amazon Prime Day?
Yeah.
So Amazon Prime Day came and went last week. They always keep it kind of secret because for competition. But they announced it. It went off. I think it was last Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
But how did it do? Like, did inflation crush it? I know things have been a little tough for Amazon. So record lows,
record high, record amount of orders.
Really?
Record everything.
Wow.
Here's my belief on it. I think the next day, Amazon announced that they are exiting a ton of categories in their private label space. Amazon wants to
stuff.
Yeah, Amazon basic stuff. They're exiting a lot of categories. Some people said, "Oh, they're doing it because of antitrust." No, they should have done that 2 years ago if they actually cared. They don't care. Mm-hmm. The real reason why they're doing it is their business is soft. They realize selling their own product, then they're accustomed to the same challenges all of us all have from supply chain, increased cost, shipping, all of that. And what you also realize is they make more money off selling third-party product because it's not their inventory. They didn't pay for it. They're just charging us all the fees, and they get to just take no inventory risk, which is a way better business than owning the inventory and hoping that you use your data to be smarter at guessing what the customer wants.
Because the thought was, right, in theory, if you take out the inventory risk and any of that, and not just having to hold all of that, the margins are higher. But
exactly,
when you really get into it, it's not worth it.
And what happened was, if you look at the deepest discounts on Prime Day, they were all Amazon branded products, whether it's a Kindle or whatever it is. They make so many damn things on their private label. Yeah. 80%, 90% off. So my guess is they're exiting a lot of categories. They liquidated a ton of shit, and they had a record day. There was some record number of sub $20 purchases. There's no way you can offer 2-day free shipping on anything sub $20 and make any money on it. You just can't. And we had posted a clip about why Amazon e-commerce business is not good. And I was reading the comments last week and everyone's like, this guy doesn't know anything about what Amazon does, blah, blah. Half the products are their own. Okay. They just gave up on half their products. You know why? Because it doesn't fucking work. And you don't know anything because you're on TikTok.
Well,
so,
I mean, look at who your business analysts are. That you know.
So it's
guy,
like,
I know TikTok. I know Amazon like the back of my hand.
and I know that on Amazon, when you sell something, you make money.
If anyone knows, I know. I'm Amazon Alex. Follow me.
But look at this. The reality is, and we've seen this with a ton of retailers, people's private label exposure is decreasing because what does the consumer want? They want newness. They want differentiated brands. They just don't want your shit all the time. Yeah. And everyone who's diversified that has done really, really well. And Amazon knows that. They fucked up. They thought the whole world could be Amazon Basics, and it's not. And
that makes me happy though. I hope that trend continues because I do see almost every big like retailer looking at their own in-house brands, which I get it. I mean, as you should, but I do think it kind of kills like the spirit of, you know, what people are coming up with and what, like, it's kind of like, instead of getting what's anyone in the world just came up with and started a brand, you're getting what the people in the marketing department at that retailer came up with as a brand. And you kind of lose some of that like soul. It's also not as good for up and coming entrepreneurs. So I hope that's just a thing that I think is overall bad for entrepreneurship and
innovation, all those things. And
I hope that trend goes away.
And I think based on inflation, what you did see is what they did report, or I guess credit card data reported that a lot of it were these low ticket items like diapers, snacks, and just essentials that were on sale, as opposed to, I'm sure in previous years, you're like indulging in an air fryer, Instapot, or whatever it is.
Yeah, good point.
And I know a lot of people reported they had really, really good sales, but when you're talking about a company that does north of $100 billion on e-commerce, like their business is really driven by the mega brands and their mega private label, and it's. Them exiting private label has nothing to do with antitrust. It has everything to do with that business is not good anymore. Yeah. And they're seeing that it's not a good place for them to make money, because what happens when it's your private label brand, you don't get to charge the fees. You're trying to hit the price. Then you're like everyone else, because most people who sell on Amazon, your margins are razor thin or zero or negative. Like it's not that good when you look at it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, good. I hope that continues.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That's crazy though. I'm glad that, I mean, I guess it's definitely a sign of the times what people were buying, but I'm glad that at least record highs. I mean, once again, I know there's a lot to that, up to 80% discounts, and it's a lot of lower price items, but at least people are shopping.
Yeah.
Okay. Gas. Gas is on the way down, huh? What's going on? Is this so gas is on 30 days straight of oil prices going down slowly, very slowly. Is this an issue of demand waning, or are we figuring this thing out? What's happening?
Yeah. So there's a chart that came out that showed that U.S. gasoline demand 4-week average is down negative 0.8%, which is pretty substantial. So that's either a function of the price that gas is at right now, people are not willing to spend, or the economy is completely slowed down and the need for all this driving has been eliminated. And so I'm guessing it's a combination of both. I think crude oil is trading at like $96 a barrel. I think Saudi Arabia announced yesterday they're going to increase the number of barrels they make per day to $13 million or
Mhm.
13 million barrels a day.
Yeah.
And so the trend looks like the consumer can't afford the current gas prices and that they are making it known by not getting gas. That, or we're in a recession, in a bad recession already, and businesses have just cut back on everything. And when you think about, if you're ordering less on the internet, then the driver's using less gas, and the truck driver that's importing goods doesn't have as much business to do, so he's not using as much gas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would guess it's just a combination of everything, but to me, the one thing that I pay attention to the most, just in my personal life, is gas prices.
Yep.
And today, on my way over here, I saw the gas station near my house say $5.99 for the cheapest,
Wow.
which I have not seen in a while.
Yeah.
And then on Santa Monica Boulevard, one of those more like generic gas station brands, they were at $5.79.
Wow. Okay.
So I might scoop up a tank of gas on my way home.
Go scoop up a tank. Maybe get a reserve just in case and throw it in the garage.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it looks like, and there's been a lot of talk, obviously, with Biden going to Saudi Arabia, that was the purpose of the trip. I don't know if he was effective at all. Just some of the clips I saw were kind of fucking bad.
But you saw the fist bump, right?
Yeah.
And there's this controversy over whether or not he brought up Jamal Khashoggi.
Yeah.
Like he says he did, but their people say he didn't. Like whatever. It's just this whole thing.
Yeah. And I think I'm curious to see what happens in the coming weeks. But one of the things that has been spoken is that Saudi Arabia has been buying Russian oil for cheap. So they're happy to sell America slightly.
Why would they be doing that?
Because it's cheap.
So they're just buying it and flipping it?
Yeah.
But doesn't that shit just fly out of the ground over there for free?
Yeah, but if you can make more money, why not?
Maybe they just like to support Russia.
I think a lot of people are buying Russian oil. I mean, it's not, I know. A lot of countries not going to crater their economy for a conflict that is.
Hey, I get it.
Yeah. I saw some pretty tinfoil shit about
Ooh, this is fun.
Ukraine, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. I saw a whole thread of
it's
Hunter
a little
Biden's,
fishy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, why does it happen to be Ukraine that they had these business interests in?
And then,
I'll tell you what, the worst thing I ever did was a couple of weeks ago, I told Anand on the pod, but I rewatched Vice about Dick Cheney, and it made me, it'll tinfoil hat the shit out of you. Because if you would have heard that, in 2002, you'd be like, get out of here.
Yeah.
And fucking sure enough. So who knows, man? Why did it happen to be Ukraine that they were dealing with? Also, I feel like the media did a good job at, for a leak of a treasure trove of hooker videos, I feel like it kind of blew over pretty quick. I mean,
I voted for Joe Biden, but if your children are off the rails that bad,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You're judged by your offspring.
Sure. Most people are.
Yeah. Your average human being is judged by how your kids are and how they represent you and your name. This guy, by the way, what does this guy have a videographer whenever he has crack and hookers?
Oh yeah. I forgot you weren't here when we talked about it. Yes. It's fucking insane. Because we were talking about how Elon tweeted that image or that meme of I think it was Hunter Biden covered in GoPros, and it was anytime he has a hooker or something. But yes, what do you my question is does he maybe have other friends that they send stuff to? We've had people that
in
we've
your group
known.
Chat. Yeah.
We've known people that share their wildest shit just to be look at how wild I am. Does he have maybe other crack using friends that he shares, or maybe he maybe it's because maybe it's sort of to spite his dad. Like, not only do I do this, but I have it documented and I can fuck you. I can show the world that I'm an idiot.
It has to be that, because like those are some pretty brazen videos. I mean, if
you wanted to set him up, you couldn't film a better video.
No.
It's literally like his face, his junk, the crack, the hooker. Like, here's the whole thing. It's all in one video.
It's like if you were going to set someone up, you'd be like, okay, these are the 4 shots I need.
Yes, I really need face, junk, crack, hooker. I need them all in one
and this
shot.
guy knocks it out in like 12 seconds.
He's like, got it. Face, junk, crack, hooker.
I mean, what does like an older Joe Biden voter think? Look, sad to say, it doesn't affect my opinion either way, but
yeah.
But I would curious, because if you're a religious person,
but you know who looks the other way more than anyone?
Yeah.
We've talked about this on the pod before. Like, religious leaders can be the one with the crack and the hookers, and they're like, well,
yeah,
the devil will test you. but he came in on Monday morning and he said he was sorry and he gave his life back over to Jesus. You know what I mean? Like, they're very forgiving people. I have a feeling that if you're like a diehard, like the people that you have in mind, it's probably like, I can't judge, my children aren't perfect, or, my sisters, my nephews, the one, he's in jail. He's not a bad kid. I feel like if you're that into it, you can justify.
You can find your excuses.
Yeah. It's a lot of hookers.
He's in jail. He's not a bad kid.
Not a bad kid. He just made a bad decision. So anyway, but it literally, like, I don't know, like, that's the one thing about, I think, social media being so like left leaning is like, obviously I don't really watch any mainstream news, so I'm sure Fox was just running nuts, but like, you don't really see, like, Hunter Biden was like trending for a quick minute on Twitter, but like, I'm sure Twitter came and swept that up. And like, you just don't really see, like, if that was Ivanka or Don Jr. or any of them, it would have been like, you wouldn't have been able to get away from that for the whole summer.
Yeah.
It would have been constant.
It's insane.
Okay. What do we have next? Man, this is another, unfortunately, a bad D bet, I think.
No, I'm happy here.
Oh, you are happy?
I am happy.
Okay, well, Gap, the CEO, Sonia, how do you say it? Singal, is stepping down, effective immediately. Why are you effective immediately? Why are you happy? You were long Gap, right?
I was long Gap. I still am. I think she was just ineffective at her job. I love Team Brown, but if you ain't cutting it, I keep you moving.
Okay. So you're happy because you feel like this is the right move. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Like, so there's a lot of things. Old Navy is where she came from. Old Navy's always been like the crown jewel of that business, and it's struggling. And given that price is so important for the consumer, how the fuck is Old Navy struggling? We know Gap is struggling. Gap can get out of their own way. Fine.
Yep.
Gap's a donut. They'll never figure it out. Athleta is an incredible business. It's proven that it's an incredible business. Spin it out. Take it public. Sell it. Do something. Banana Republic is exactly its name. It's a fucking Banana Republic over there.
Yeah, they asked for that. Yep.
Yeah, they just need to shut that shit down and move on. You have the most influential person ever in fashion history. You have locked up and you haven't done a goddamn thing with him. Yep. Kanye posted that they sold $14 million of that black hoodie, which is insane.
But I gotta say that it shocks me that it was that low.
I mean, it's a black hoodie.
I know, but it was only $80. And that thing was like probably, top 3 most famous fashion items or most well-known fashion items. I just feel like, some of the numbers that I've heard of, like what Skims does, or like just for like kind of comparison. Yeah. I would have expected that thing.
Okay, so if he had black, blue, and white, maybe he would have done 50. But he had only one color.
Well, okay, you got to prove the blue and the white. I have a feeling here. I have no clue. I have a feeling that a lot of that is probably Kanye in his own way. Like I bet, like if you're the
You didn't see his
CEO of
post?
Gap,
You
no.
saw his post where
What'd he
he posted the chairman of Gap and said, I met him, Bob Martin, this, that. Like, we want to, he told me I should be in the stores. We want to be in the stores. And we haven't evolved past the online drops. Here's the thing, to play counter to the Kanye support is, I'm sure to be on Gap's timeline, to be at retail, Kanye is not following those rules and not making it easy for the Gap team. So I believe that. But I also think if you're Gap and your business is struggling, just suck it up. Like, if Kanye wants to do this weird black hoodie and that's all he wants to put it in the goddamn store. They're dying.
That's true. I mean, the fact that wasn't in stores is insanity.
Okay, you did 14 million off like a week of selling.
That's
Go
true.
order 1 million of them and throw them in the store. Whenever they come, they come.
It's true.
Like, you gotta like
that could
adjust.
Be fault.
Yeah, and that's why she's not there anymore. She just probably wasn't equipped to actually handle it. And I think when you look at where they should be spending their time, everyone that's successful right now at retail are energizing their consumer with interesting brands, products, and ideas and marketing. Yeah. They are not doing that. And they have the one person that people actually care about.
Yep.
Like, you know what I would do if I was Gap? I'd go to fucking Adidas and be like, can we carry the Yeezys?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Why wouldn't
Why
you?
not?
Yeah. If you had just that hoodie and Yeezys on a mannequin in the front of every Gap store,
God.
record numbers.
God. Record numbers. There's so many things you could be doing to re-energize the Gap stores, and they're not doing it. And so if they don't have, if they're not going to take advantage of the Kanye situation, then all they have really is the Athleta that's worth something that they got to spin out and maybe make some money off. Yeah. The rest of their business is fucked.
Yeah, they just got to get like a cool CEO. Like, I mean, just the CEO from Old Navy is not like, that's who's going to turn around your business. Someone from a worse business.
Old Navy. It's not even so a new Navy. It's old. The Navy is old.
It's just bad.
You want to show up to a war with the old Navy, or you want to show up to a war with the new Navy?
I want that brand spanking new Navy. Fresh off the press. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
it's a mega ball drop.
Okay, well, good for you then. So this is good for your long-term outlook.
Yeah. I think they're going to make some drastic moves.
I think literally Bob could call you tomorrow and you could I'd buy stock if you were CEO tomorrow.
If I was CEO tomorrow, I'd make Kanye creative director and let the chaos begin.
Let it go. Let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, tomorrow we're only going to release white t-shirts. You walk in the store, there's only white t-shirts. There's 700 million of them. Come get a white t-shirt.
It should literally just be Kanye's Twitter. He says what's happening at Gap today.
Yes.
At all stores. Today's only boxers.
He's like, I love celery juice.
Yep.
And that's all we sell today.
At every, yep.
Lifestyle, bro. It's a lifestyle.
You'd have the hottest year at retail.
Yeah. You literally would.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Just do whatever the hell he wants. Nobody is walking to the Gap and excited about anything.
It's impossible to be. Have you even walked past one of those stores? It is the most
so
boring.
I walked into the one at the Grove, and to be fair, the clothes are not bad. It's just I'm not inspired to make a purchase.
No. The clothing department at Target.
Why isn't there a picture of Kanye West outside the Gap?
Yeah.
Literally a picture of him wearing a hoodie that says Gap would be so amazing. I'd be like, man, Kanye's at the Gap. That's dope.
It's Sonia.
No. It's some weird interracial person that they have. They're just like forcing diversity and being like, we check every box. Yeah. Come into our store.
Imagine if you had Kanye with the kids.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding? They could do that. Sonia
honestly, just let Yeezy be a kids line at the Gap. It would crush.
Yeah. Okay. Well, moving up and moving on, Gap. Good luck on the next the next hire. Did you see also Kanye pulled out a Rolling Loud? You know, Kanye pulled out a Coachella last minute. Now he pulled out a Rolling Loud. The funny thing is Kid Cudi replaced him. Which, you know, they have some beef, I think. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like on one hand, I'm like, oh, this is news. And on the other hand, I'm like, he probably just, I mean, knowing it just could be Kanye he just woke up and didn't feel like it.
Yeah, I literally think that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best bet. Okay, so I don't even know if there's news here. I mean, there's photos of him out and about, hanging out with people. He's
just like, He's like, I want to wear my Gap hoodie in July in Miami. It's just schwitz over there. I'm not going to do that.
Literally. Yeah. Okay.
He's just like, I don't want to be in that heat. No one wants to be in Miami in July.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Especially with the current trend. Like, he's got to wear that big hoodie, those big ass boots.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good for Miami. Okay, new problem. Well, not a new problem. This is an old problem. Restaurants are still short-staffed, causing a lot of problems. This has been something really that we've talked about since kind of coming out of COVID, but it just feels like of all the jobs and things that have really got hit, like meaning people not wanting them, is like waiters and restaurant staff and people. It seems like people that have to deal with probably like rude people a lot.
Yeah.
It seems like those jobs, people are just like, I'd rather fucking starve.
Yeah, I think specifically the restaurant industry has to like use innovation to solve this problem.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it in COVID with the contactless menus and ordering from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like a super high-end restaurant, I don't think waiters should exist anymore. I think I had a really good experience in Philadelphia this week where we ordered from the their contactless menu, and the food was coming so fast.
Mm-hmm.
We'd order food, we order drinks, whatever. Challenges are like you can't modify if you're like, for me, vegetarian. It was kind of a difficult ordering situation.
Don't you think eventually there's just like they just
you could
figure
solve
that
for
out
that
with the interface?
Yeah, I think you could solve for that. What I did notice though, I was telling my friend, I was like, look around. Nobody has food. They just ordered a couple of drinks. Because the problem is someone's not reminding and asking you like, hey, you guys want some dinner now?
Yeah.
You guys, I think people had like 2 drinks that got drunk and they didn't get any food.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if business is actually worse if nobody is coming and asking you what you want. Maybe they have to create like an automatic text notification like, hey, are you enjoying those margaritas, asshole. D? You don't want to get a hangover. Have a couple tacos.
Yeah.
So I do think like you can solve for a lot of it through product and innovation, but there are some things about someone asking you to, hey, do you want something? Is more likely you'll order, right? Like you're going to engage.
Yep.
Or you feel guilty and you order something. I don't know, whatever it is.
For sure.
But I definitely agree with you. Like any job where there's a potential to get harassed, like I see why flight attendants and pilots are like, fuck this.
Yeah, flight attendants would be so tough.
Flight attendants, it's a crapshoot. I flew 4 flights in like 3 days.
Yeah.
And they were all like ridiculous hours of the either morning or night.
Yeah.
The people are getting hammered.
Oh my God. It would be terrible.
Why do you have to have a beer at 7 a.m., dude? Like, what are you doing?
It's just part of the thing. It's just literally like, oh, I'm on
you
a
go
flight.
to the airport
get drunk.
and you just like shove alcohol in your face.
It is. I can't imagine. That job seems so much crazier than a waiter or waitress because you're flying around all day, standing most of the day, and just like locked in with these idiots. You can't kick someone out. Like at a restaurant, you can be like, sir, you have to leave. At least you can do that.
Yeah, where are you going?
You got to just get out the duct tape.
Give him a parachute and tell him get the fuck out.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
I think they should give flight attendants weapons.
What kind?
Like a stick where you can hit them.
Like a wooden stick or like kind of like a police baton?
A baton.
And then you just give him a little pop him. You just pop him one time.
Boom. He's a black guy.
Say, shut the fuck up.
Sit your ass down. Shut the fuck up.
Got it.
It's insane. Like, I see these people ordering. Next thing you know, they're mouthing off. Like, it's so obvious, the behaviors. Yeah. They order. They're coming into the flight drunk. They order 2-3 more drinks. And then people are already kind of on edge given COVID and life and whatever.
Well, just flying. Like, most people are a little uneasy about flying.
Yeah.
Hit a little turbulence, order another Jack Daniels, curse at the flight attendant.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do. All you can do is duct tape them to their seat.
Yeah. Fucked.
Yeah. Okay.
Baton. Boom. Smack him in the face.
All right. You really do have some dictator vibes. You have some authoritarian. You got a little Putin in you.
It's a little chaotic right now. I want to go on a plane and not feel like the guy that has had 17 beers is not going to just destroy everyone's trip.
I agree. I do now when I get, you know how people used to like look for like terrorists when they got on planes?
You look for drunks?
No, what I found. Well, yes. So I look for two different people. I look for the drunk idiot that's going to like start going crazy. Yeah. And then I look for like how many strong people are there, like that could subdue these people. You know, like I look like,
there's a lot of strong people flying. There's always strong people flying.
There is usually, yeah. And it makes me feel better because I'm like, man, if shit goes down, like at least this guy's going to bear hug that guy.
I'm going to him and he's going to handle it for us.
Yeah, that's what I look for now is like the drunk fucking idiot. And then the strong guy to subdue him. Okay, next we've got well, let's start with this. Bill Gates, giving away all of his money. He's over it. He's the nicest guy in the world. He's here for humanity. It's not about him. And he is going to give away virtually all of his wealth. And just wanted to let you know, this to me feels like an ego sentence. Just want to let you know, I will move down and eventually off the list of the world's richest people. To me, it's like, look, man, no one asks. You know, like that just feels like a little bit of like, you're like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to be moving down the list, but it's not because I'm doing it voluntarily.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's cool.
Yeah. Look,
he's giving it to his foundation, to the Bill Gates Foundation.
Yeah, he transferred 20 billion, or he's transferring 20 billion this year. He'll continue to keep giving. I guess he's probably wanted to say just like, yo, if you don't see me on that list, this is the reason why.
That's what I think it was.
I'm still good. Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Like, yo, I could be at the top, but I'm choosing not to be.
Exactly. I literally think that's exactly what it was. And it's really funny. Yeah. It's like insecurity never goes away, even if you're Bill Gates.
No chance. Especially with like Elon, you know, being so outspoken.
Yeah, Elon's just, way richer than Bill.
I mean, I have to believe that more so than any other like billionaire, Elon probably has the like jealousy target on his back. Like every billionaire, everyone who's even in the like 10 billion plus has to just wish Elon would go away.
Yeah,
he's just he's like too on social, too flamboyant, too crazy.
He's too winning.
Yeah. He just wanted to shut up.
Everyone, you know, the homie got like, 73 kids, and then he's in Mykonos. Like, I got the Daily Mail notification. Yeah. Elon Musk shows up to Mykonos with scantily clad brunettes.
It's insane. His life is such a fucking... I would love to know the details. And you're fucking like your executives. You're in Mykonos with like scantily clad brunettes, and then you're just putting babies into your executives. Like, what are you doing? That's so crazy.
I mean, the amount of stuff he's just doing between running businesses, making babies.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
Having orgies. He also think about the fact that then through all that, he then pops up in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial for having threesomes. Then he's over here. Then he's in Mykonos. Then he's putting babies in his employees. Meanwhile, rockets, tunnels, and electric cars. It's wild. But if you're a billionaire, you're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let's just give it back to like the Walton family or someone who just shut up. Okay. Last but not least, we got a there's an epidemic going on. And this one's not viral. It's not coming out of Wuhan. It's not going to make you cough, but it might make you cry a little. Men have no friends. Let me say that again. We have a problem that men, you heard it right, have no friends. It's hard for men to find real friendships these days. And it's a problem. And it's something that we need to address. Now, you, D,
So
let me talk to you, D. You're a guy with a shit ton of friends.
Yeah.
Like, you have a lot of friends. What do you think here? Do you think maybe you could help? I know that you, at one point, you wanted to start a Jewel rehab center. I'm thinking maybe you flip that, now that Jewel's out of the picture, into a how to make friends center for men. You could.
So the article's interesting. They they start with this guy saying, "I didn't realize I was lonely."
Okay, well, that's why you have no friends, buddy.
and the premise of the article is around like a particular group of guys that spend so much time with work and whatever, and they've kind of forgot like their personal life.
Okay.
I really think the real challenge for guys particularly is that as guys get older, so like you grow up, you have a group of friends, right? Like assume you're not an immigrant. You grew up in America.
Yeah.
And you have a group of friends that or wherever, you're native to whatever country you live in. You grew up with a bunch of people. You went to college with a bunch of people. You got a job. You work with a bunch of different people. In that process, a lot of your thinking evolves. And you're not the same person you were when you were growing up, you're in college, or when you first started at your first job.
Yeah. You
may get married, you may have kids. And then I think at the point where you actually have kids, and right before that point, maybe before you get married, you basically spend more time about being selfish and about you or your family and not about all the people around you.
Yeah.
And I think when that happens, that keeps extending. And then one day you wake up and you realize, hey, if I'm going to text somebody, like maybe like this was like 3-4 months ago. It was a Saturday night. And I was like, all right, I want to go do something. Like, and I never have the itch to do anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just so tired. And I was like, I want to do something. And I was like, who am I going to text? I don't even know. Like, because like, I'm so out of the loop. Mm-hmm. Like that it's very hard to get back in the loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, who do I call? Like most of my friends have kids, and then obviously I have my friends who are in hospitality and nightlife and whatever, but like, they're not going to want to do anything till 9:30 at night. Yeah. I want to do something at 7:30 to 9:30.
Yeah, that's tough.
Who are my cohort of people, and they don't exist.
Yeah,
and so I there's that movie I Love You, Man.
Yep.
Which of those
great movie. Paul Rudd, right?
Paul Rudd, yeah, and Jason Segel.
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just two guys that become like best friends and whatever. I think for guys, it's very hard to put forth the effort to become friends with people.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, have you made a new friend in the last 5 years? Like someone new that you did not know 5 years ago that you spend time with? Like,
I don't
even
think so.
With golf.
Yeah.
You're golfing with people that you've known for your entire existence in LA.
It's true. And there's definitely people like what I was going to say is there's definitely people that I golf with that I didn't like. Maybe they're the friend of the friend, but I don't. It's not like I call them then on a Tuesday and say like, "Yo, man, how was your day?"
At the range.
What's up, bro? You want to go to the range? How was your day? Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I'm definitely around more people when I pick up new hobbies. Like there's like a whole group of people that I'm around at the boxing group. But once again, like I see them when I go there and then that's about it.
But you're not going to dinner with your boxing buddies?
No, not with that whole group. And same with the golf people. Like I golf with the people. Yeah, I don't know. I also just see the way that like Kareen, for instance, like makes friends because she's very, we don't have kids. We don't have like, we got a lot of time. So she is just way like, I feel like maybe, I don't know if this is like, I'm going to get me in trouble or not, but I feel like women are just also way more like, down to just hang out and chat and like get to know people and like, what are you up to? What are you struggling with? What's been tough? There's just like deeper conversation, I think, that like women are willing to have with new people. Whereas 100%. Like guys just don't do that. I was talking to her about it the other day. I was like, we just don't do that. Like, I don't, like she has a friend over now.
Guys,
and I'm sure
you have to have something in common for us to connect. Like,
and then you're
like I'll go to dinner with
people
people and they'll be like, "Oh, did you see what happened last night at the Laker game?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Fuck, this dinner's fucked."
Yeah, it is. That's why I notice about me is like when I go to hang out with my boxing group, we talk about boxing, we talk about upcoming fights, we talk about all that shit. Then you go to the golfing people, you're talking about the Open, what happened, Rory blew it, and then you go whatever, and like, but there's not like one group that talks about everything. You know what I mean?
No, and it's difficult. Like I have my core close group of friends where I feel comfortable talking about everything.
Yeah.
But then like once you expand beyond that, if I don't have like a common interest with that person, it's just, and I'm hanging out with everybody, all walks of life all the time. But I understand how, because I see it with a lot of friends I grew up with where they're struggling to have friendships.
Yeah.
Like, because people just have different interests. Like I have a bunch of friends that are into golf, but none of the people we grew up with play golf. So
yeah. I might start a I'll be your friend golf club,
Yeah.
Okay, looking for a buddy? You got a membership over at Bel Air? Invite me. I'll come.
You have to be at a top 5 country club. And
here's the list of country clubs I will be your friend at. And just invite me and I'll be your buddy for the day. But why don't you think this article is about women? Like, do you think that women are more, they don't have that same, like, do you think that that's a guy trait that like, if we can't talk about the same like work or sports, we don't really have anything to talk about?
Yeah, I think like, for example, if a group of women got together that kind of know each other, they will talk about pretty personal things. Yeah. Whether it be family or kids or whatever, relationships, pretty easily.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Whereas like there's people I know for 30 years. I don't know one fucking thing about them personally. Like, I don't even know where they live. Yeah. Like, but I talk to them, every other day. Yeah. And I have no idea. Like, I don't know their fucking wife's name. I don't know anything.
And God forbid, of course, you don't know like their insecurities or their fears or their relationship troubles. Like, I
know they like the Denver Nuggets. They like, they love tequila, and that's it. Yeah. And I'll talk to them all day, every day, but I don't know anything about them.
It's so true.
I have no deep connection with them. And by the way, that's okay. Like, I think for guys, we don't need to be connected with a bunch of people. We just need people to talk to so we don't go insane.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have people to talk to and people to kind of relate to, that's why, like, if you have the friends in those certain circles that you can relate to that, like, they're, the economy's bad, we're laying off people. Oh, us too. Yeah. That's crazy. Like, that's what keeps you from going insane. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like Max got pushed into feeling lonely here. Where the guy, the guy from the article that said, I didn't know I was lonely. I feel like that kind of made him feel lonely.
Yeah.
He might have been okay.
And yeah, they made him look like a loser.
Yeah, they did.
He's like everybody else. Like, yeah, of course. Like, here's the reality. As you get older, you're not putting, especially for men, you don't put the same effort into friendships. You just don't.
Yeah, I think there's a business opportunity.
It has to fall into your lap. It has to fall into your lap.
Someone could make like a male social club. No, that would just be like
the Proud Boys.
The 1920s. I don't
That's
know.
what that is.
There's something. Go back to the good old days. Yeah, I don't know, but there's some sort of opportunity here. Okay, well, that's it. D, if you get lonely, just give me a call, man. I'm always here.
I'm just
for
ripping
you.
through. I finally had some time the last couple of days on planes. I was ripping through movies.
Yeah, if you ever get lonely and you just want a nice tequila and some old Kevin Hart flicks, I'm
Give me
here
a
for
call.
you. Yeah.
By the way, don't talk when Kevin Hart's speaking either.
How dare you? I don't know what they're doing. They're doing press or something, but I've seen on TikTok, The Rock and Kevin Hart are back together for some reason.
Oh.
They have a new movie or something?
I think they did a kids movie, Pause the Fury.
Yeah, they're the best duo, but they were starting to get clips again of them doing their press and that stuff for on TikTok. So they're back. If Kevin Hart and if The Rock as president and Kevin Hart ran as vice president tomorrow, I'd vote for him.
I think they win.
I think they win.
Who's better? Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or The Rock? Rock's winning.
Do you mean that?
Yes, 100%.
That's your guess, or have you?
I would vote for The Rock over Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
To be honest with you, for what
At
the
least he's
president's
inspiring.
actual job is, I would vote for The Rock over all. I'd vote for.
It's proven the presidency actually doesn't do anything. Like,
But
look who we've had in the last two presidents.
But let me give you an example. If you have to go to take out the Jamal Khashoggi issue, just for my point, if you have to go to Saudi Arabia and you have to talk to MBS and you have to get him to increase his oil production, who do you think is going to do that better? Joe Biden or The Rock?
The Rock's going to go to MBS. Do you smell?
Do you smell what the refineries are cooking? Not to mention MBS is going to be a fan. He's going to be
he's taking a picture with him.
Oh my God, are you kidding? He's making 4 times the barrels a day.
Rock's going to flex his pecs and we're getting 50 million barrels a day and gas is down to $2.
I'm not kidding. I think for that job.
People overthink how simple life is.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to pop your pecs.
You send The Rock to the Ukraine-Russian border, that war is over.
Yeah, you can send him in there with Putin. He would have that thing dialed in. Like, look, we're going to give up this area. You're going to keep this one.
And I'm going to give you
chill.
fast 11 early, Putin.
Deal. He's good in China.
Yeah.
Because of the Fast franchise. I don't know. I really think it could work.
John Cena, Secretary of Defense.
Or foreign policy, he already...
Yeah, we speak Mandarin. It's pretty good.
he already gave that up. I'd be into it.
All right, great.
Let's see what happens. Okay, everyone have a great week. Thanks for listening. That's all we got. We'll see you Tuesday.